Well, I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. We will start here with prayer and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Father, thank you for our freedom and the privilege of gathering here today. We pray for wisdom in our decision-making. Oversee the safety of our village employees and volunteers. We thank you for those people who take pride in the community and get involved to make it a better place. We pray for protection and community support for our military personnel and their families. Give us peaceful hearts as we miss our family and friends that have passed away. It is in your most blessed name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Baker.
Here.
Barth.
Here.
Bassett.
Here.
Beverly.
Here.
Headley.
Here.
Jones.
Here. Here.
We typically don't call the administrator's name.
You said Jones? Oh. My apologies, Ron.
You'll get to know us.
Yeah. So you have in your packet the October 16th regular council meeting minutes. Does anyone have any additions or corrections to those? If not, I would entertain a
I would make
motion
a
to.
motion to accept the minutes from the 16 October meeting as written.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Roll call, please.
Headley.
Yes,
Bassett.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And you have, you got an approved bills list in your packet over the weekend, and then it appears that Cheryl put on the table tonight another,
It was a credit card.
a credit card list, okay?
I have a couple questions, Mayor. Very first one.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's not here though.
I know, that's one I have first one too.
I had a question about that too.
I wanted to see it.
I hope we're not equipping everybody so they get revolver holsters. Then on the front of the third page, 3/4 down, Savage Excavating, Sewer, Clearview.
That was an incorrect purchase order number.
That was a what, excuse me?
Incorrect purchase order number. And if you notice in here, later on when I get to my stuff, I'll show it to you. It's not sewer work.
What is it?
It's voided. It's voided.
So
we're gonna take
Because,
that out of there?
yes, we did not get that invoice. We got the invoice for tearing the building down. And so today, when I saw it on the list, I voided it until I get approval to pay it.
We just had this under dust today.
Oh, I did not see that. So we're gonna approve these bills minus that?
Correct.
Okay,
well, that's correct.
and, survey utility easement, where did we do that at?
Clearview Drive,
It's Clearview.
back there where they run
Yeah.
that line back there,
Yeah.
they had to do it so that I could do an easement to make sure that the easement was done last week, and I think Mike got it signed.
Oh, I thought we had all that over with.
Savage is finishing in that run between the two homes to the creek there.
To the creek, yeah.
It was a job that EMHT did not engineer, and they wanted to. We said, no, we'll just do it on our own and get Mark to do it to finish the job and be saved between their estimate and
Quite
his.
foolish how they ended it up back there, just letting it run out in the middle of everywhere.
Right.
If nobody else has anything, I move that we pay the bills by taking Savage out as he is in here as far as sewer Clearview work. If he has another bill in here, which I have not seen,
He does not.
Okay.
I have a question. Cheryl, does the very first one mean that was out of the donation line account?
Yes.
Okay.
What
That-
does that represent?
Money that was donated to the police department, that line.
Oh, so that's 1,103 of it,
Right.
but the other 2,350 is still questionable.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That would be a very handy piece of information to have.
Well, you could always put it on hold till you knew, I guess.
Okay, that's how we'll approve, I'll make the motion to approve the bills, but we won't pay Axon Enterprise, Inc. until we find out what that's for, and we will take Savage Excavating out. He will be paid in a different manner.
What about Watson's?
Are these gonna be on there for the Sunday approved list too?
It will be on once it's approved, because I have no purchase orders for them.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to double
That's
check.
been approved? Watson?
He didn't turn one in, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he did? Okay. Oh, that's right.
I put them front to back.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Those were-
Yeah, it's on the,
Are you gonna add that in so he gets paid?
I don't have a purchase order and I don't have an approval, so when it's my turn, I'll ask for that.
okay.
Okay.
All right,
But
gotcha.
don't we need to do that now while we're approving bills?
That's not in the list.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, then mine.
Yeah. I'll second Ron's motion.
Roll call, please.
Baker,
Yes.
Bassett,
Yes.
Headley,
Yes,
Barth,
Yes,
Beverly,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Okay. Susan Mack, would you like to go up to the podium and address council?
Good evening. I'm here representing the Hicksville Beautification Committee, and I come once a year, and the main reason for being here is to thank you very much for your support. I mean, we couldn't do what we do without significant village support, and we really appreciate that from the administrator's office, from you as council members, and also having a part-time village employee who now currently is Dawn Ish makes a big difference to what we're able to do. And I've passed out a sheet that basically outlines the main areas that we cover. I think our main issues right now, it continues to be a need for extra volunteers. We can always use volunteers to help with the watering, to help with the planting of beds and taking care of beds. And so we, every year, work on that. Jim Brown attended our meeting today, which we really appreciated because working with the village, he's our main contact person. In addition to the fact that we have 2 members of your group on our committee, which helps a lot. We're looking at ways to possibly liven up our pots and plantings downtown next year. And one of our main things we're doing is we need to most probably replace the water wagon that we have. It's pretty much, I mean, it's done a great job, but has had a lot of issues this last year. So we're looking at, we have a little subcommittee that's looking at what will work best for us. Because one of the big problems is that water wagon works perfectly for watering downtown. But when we have to water in the park, when we have to water out at the cemetery, it just takes us a long time to chug our way out there. And so we'd like to try and figure out a way that we can do the watering that we need to do and have the vehicles that will work best. So by next spring, that's our deadline for getting that particular issue solved. But I think otherwise, things have really run well this year. We had super weather, that helped a lot, and we were able to keep everything looking good downtown, which is important to us. We've added, Dawn works with the Veterans Memorial now, and she really does a good job of keeping her eye on all the different planting areas. I think also the rain garden she's spent a lot of time at, and we're still looking at ways to make that a better looking project, I guess is the best way to put it. So that continues to be sort of a minor challenge. But if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those. But otherwise, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
very nice.
Great.
Thanks for leading the group, Susan. You spend a lot of time at it, I know that.
but I've got lots of good helpers.
I am going to invite Barry Sleesman up to the podium to talk to you. He spoke to me last week, and I wasn't sure whether he was coming or not, so I did not have Cheryl put him on the agenda, but he's here, so we'll hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I was just wanted to address council about neighbors of the dollar store from across the street from me. And all the neighbors pretty much conclude that, and I've talked to the Hicksville police, and I'm talking to Mrs. Collins, and all night long the lights go on and off, on and off. And in between that, if anybody pulls in, you get a siren goes off, and it's just nothing but a pain in the butt for everybody that lives up by the dollar store. And I've talked to the neighbors, and everybody agrees. And people just like, you shouldn't have to go out and spend $100 to put new thicker curtains on the front of your house to watch TV at night. And between that and the trucks that deliver, that pull up and ruin your front yard, which you got to take care of, and it's horrible trying to mow the hills anyway because of the way they are. And that leads to another thing with the garbage, our new garbage service. You know, I'm supposed to put the can 2 feet from the road. That is totally impossible. Where I live, it is absolutely impossible unless you would dig out a trench to put it in. But everybody concludes that, you know, it's nothing but a pain in the butt. So I called the manager at a dollar store, and she says, well, I've had complaints, call the cops. Call the cops. Every time you have an issue, call the cops. I said, so what? Every 13 seconds on a Saturday night, I'm going to call the cops? I says, who's going to be the idiot now? You know, it'll be me. So I called the district manager, and they give me a number for that. Nothing. So then I called corporate, and they finally give me a claim number. And 2 days later, somebody actually did call me back, and I told them what was going on and everything. And they said, okay, we'll look into it and all that, and hold your breath. I have not heard nothing since.
How long ago was that, Barry?
That would have been last Thursday.
Okay.
And, you know, like I said, like you said, hold your breath. You know, what's going to happen? Probably nothing. Who knows? But I just wanted to bring it up.
Something's gotta happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It is. You know, like I said, I went out and spent over $100 on new curtains to close the whole front of my living room off because, I mean, it's light pollution. It don't just shine in their parking lot. It shines the front of everybody's houses, you know. And I talked to a police officer, and I said, you guys can't even hide there and do radar because the lights come on. And he said, yeah. He said, it's been, you know, everybody's complained, and nobody's done nothing about it. And it's
We have tried
it's worse
doing
than what it
something
was when
about
it was
it.
Hardee's. I mean,
I know we made calls too, Kent did, and.
Mike could stop down and personally talk to him, what,
Twice.
3, 4,
Twice. And their manager, her hands were tied. That's what she
yeah,
kept
and that's
telling
what
me.
she said. And she
"I
said,
have
call the cops.
no
I'm like, you
pull."
call the cops every 13 seconds
Yeah.
on a Saturday night. You know, I mean,
Troy, do you have any advice?
Short of sending them a letter, I could send them something or whatever, which would probably get the same treatment. I mean, they potentially would be subject to a civil lawsuit by like the neighbors or something for interference with their enjoyment of their property, kind of a civil like nuisance thing. But from a village perspective, there's not really a quote law they're breaking. I mean, short of us trying to get their attention a little bit, or one of the neighbors deciding to sue them and take it to court.
Barry's done everything.
Yeah. Oh, I
Went the
agree.
extra mile there.
Yeah.
I agree. And
Yeah.
he probably got as farther than anybody sitting at this table would, myself included.
Jim, do you have any suggestions?
Not sure I totally understand the issue. Is it the Dollar General's lights?
Yeah,
Security lights.
Security, they.
Security
like,
lights
sirens.
on and off.
They're so sensitive when cars drive, and I drive by on Wednesday mornings when I'm delivering, that's the first, when I see it. But I'll be the only car on High Street
They come
and the
up.
lights fire up.
So they're motion,
people see
they're
it.
motion sensor.
Yeah, and I'm the only car around.
Are they LED, or they,
It's basically, it's a time thing. I don't think it's a motion thing, because like I said, I can sit there at 2 o'clock in the
They're not
morning.
motion?
Maybe the sensitivity on.
It's gotta be. I drove by there the other day and they came on.
Seconds. I mean,
On and off.
yeah.
and the lumens spread out, they don't just go down to the ground? They
parking lot lights.
Yeah, and they go all the way across the road, you know, I mean, I would
On
say.
the face
Them
of
on
the
the front
building that
pointing.
shines at the houses across
Is
the
it
street.
every night, Barry? Every
Oh,
night?
yeah.
Oh, it's 24, it's been, this, I've heard it was been going on
It's been
since
going
about a
on
year.
for over a year,
Yeah, a
yeah.
year. No,
Yeah.
they started addressing it when they,
You know, and.
November.
Perhaps they could redirect them.
Do you have a BB gun?
No, you can't.
I figured a lawyer would say
The lights are
that.
just like if you go into any parking lot, they light up the whole parking lot. I wouldn't really call them security lights, they're the parking lot lights.
But they point
The
downward.
ones that are on the front of the building,
The
though.
ones on the front of the
It's like a
building are
street
going
light.
issues, because they go all the way across the road and
The ones on
everything.
the front of the building
Right.
actually just point straight out.
Sure. but
Those two
you
do,
got-
yeah, but the rest of them, yeah, it lights it all up.
Parking lot lights just lights up. If you wanna see how bright it is right now, go down there while they're open and look at them. The problem is the rest of the area then becomes dark because it's night.
And then the front lights come
And
on.
those lights come on and it makes it all the brighter.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's amazing, it is totally amazing that nobody has gotten hit or killed crossing the road there. People who walk, pedestrians, there and the pizza place on the corner. Because everybody pulls in to the pizza place and backs out. I've seen that pole get hit many times, the one pole that's right there in the corner of that lot. And I've seen pedestrians have to stop so many times at the pizza place and across at the dollar store. They can have some of the lights on in the parking lot, but the one out there where the crosswalk is, you can't see. It's dark. I mean, it's dark. I mean, I can't believe nobody's been hit there yet. It's just amazing that somebody hasn't been hit.
Barry, since you
Neither
are
one.
waiting for a reply from them, and I think, would you keep in contact with Jim so that, share some information, keep in contact
Yeah.
with each other? Maybe Jim
Give
can
me my
follow
name
up
or
with
anything,
what
yeah.
you've done
Yeah, that's fine.
and see if we can wait to see what their answer is, I guess, then, and go from there. Or,
You know,
or else
I'm not
you-
expecting
or-
a lot, you know, because like I said, you know, they give you the corporate runaround, but you know, at least they did get back with me. Because
Seems like they'll be able to take those.
being the
lights
accident
off.
I am, I won't
Turn them
let
down.
it go because I'm tired of
I
it.
think they're. boy, they-
Yeah. Well,
All right,
there
thank
ought
you.
to be something that can be done, so we'll,
That's
Jim
right.
will
Oh, I
work
was by
with
there
you
that
on
morning,
that.
early.
Thank you for
And they-
coming.
I swear, they're all
Mary.
sensors, because they came up on my box.
I know, that's all I could think of.
Yeah, just get hold of me, Barry, when you find more out. We'll go from there.
All right, thank you. Okay, we will go on to boards and commissions. You have minutes from the October 25th Park Board meeting in your packets, and I see we have Mr. Hard here of the Park Board. Does anyone have any questions for him? All right, thanks for coming. How about going on to the Planning Commission minutes from November 2nd? Do we have minutes from the, oh, there it is. My stuff's all out of order. So it was a lot split on West High Street, and a motion was made and passed to split those lots at Barry's house, and it was the Prokraski house beside them, so that has passed.
That just only made good sense.
Yeah, it just squared up the properties, I believe. Do we have any other boards and commissions here that have anything to report on, that there's no minutes in the packet? All right, well, we will go on to council committee reports, and I believe we have a couple of those in here.
Yeah, finance, you have the minutes in the packet. Met the 23rd and 30th of October, finished up on the 30th on the appropriations. I think we're having the first reading tonight, is that right, Troy? Appropriations for 2018. Want to encourage people to vote tomorrow, but also the fire levy, fire EMS levy. That's going to bring in $90,000 to that fund. So that fund is really short, so encourage you to vote for that. I know when you call the 911, you expect rescue and fire to respond. So I think I just encourage people to vote yes on that for the finance part, so that's all I got.
Thank you.
I had a question on the finance committee. I know you guys have all the prices and everything for all the different department heads and everything.
Yes.
I just really think that the park director and the pool manager, I was on the park board for many years. I know how much time and how many weeks they're down there, 35, 40 hours a week on call all the time. And for our park director and pool manager combined to make $11,000 a year after a minimum of about at least 37 weeks of being there, I think is too low.
That's going to be addressed tonight, right? Personnel? Correct.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
only, if she's working 40 hours a week, that's only $7.44 an hour.
Cheryl, did you include that in this sheet?
You have to have an ordinance.
Okay.
But yes, Val and Gary came the last meeting, and we went over that, so I turned it over to personnel. They're the ones that do pay raises.
Okay.
But I agree with you. The
And-
committee also did.
And they did something, so it'll be changed.
Yes,
little
so
bit.
That was the very brief meeting that
Yep.
us three had.
Right.
And it was agreed that we would take her back up to where she said she wanted to be, what she had been reduced
Before
from
she got
before.
cut.
So
Okay.
Cheryl will have that, Cheryl has it all taken care of, correct?
There you go.
You have to have an ordinance.
So in other words, you have to tell me what you want it to be, and then I'll bring it back.
it'd be for next year, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So if anybody got
Did
any
you do
questions?
the numbers, though? Okay.
Cheryl, could that not be included on this pay ordinance that we're going to read? I mean,
When they did all the others, they always did a separate ordinance, so it's up to Troy.
were those because they were done at different times of the year all alone?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, if it's just a matter of, I mean, it's not changing like what the job's called or what the
No.
duties are, or anything. It's basically just bumping the pay back up to get it in line.
Just a small
What
increase.
it was before.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be done just on this one.
Can you present numbers for us, Cheryl? You're just it.
Sorry, I didn't suggest that earlier today when you pointed that out to me, but I didn't really think about it.
So while we're on the appropriations on the first reading, anybody have any other questions? Had a chance to look at them? We got 2 more readings after this, so take a look at it.
The only question I had on this ordinance 17-19 was the mayor's court, the wages.
You guys are skipping ahead. You're skipping ahead.
You're doing the amended.
We're not on the appropriations yet. Oh, you're
You
talking
asked me
about
if I had
the,
questions about
Yeah.
the appropriations.
Well,
Are you-
the amended part, are you, that's separate.
Okay.
He's talking about the 2017-21, the
Yeah.
appropriations for next year.
That we just
He made a
presented.
statement of what is.
I didn't realize that. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, he did.
That's the amended.
What you're talking about, what's wrote right there.
Yeah, so anyway, this is the new.
I'm good, let's roll on.
All right. So any other questions? Or when we have the first reading, you can ask the questions. Okay.
okay, so any other committee reports of council?
No, but I do have a question.
Okay.
I know I'm the newest one out here on the council, so I did have a question. Last meeting, I didn't get my packet until like half an hour before our meeting, because I didn't get on Saturday like normal. So I guess I'm trying to figure out when we have committee meetings, and let's say, for instance, last, one of the committee meetings for police and fire, they had a meeting about purchasing a 100-foot platform truck in 1981, or 82, all depends on the approved bills list. How does stuff like that not come up to council for us to
Right.
vote on? I mean, it was approved by 2 and voted no by 1 because it was way too old of a piece of equipment, and trying to decide needs and wants for the fire department. I mean, a lot of stuff gets brought up to us to vote for each one of us to give us our opinion, and this was purchased before we ever even had a chance to even talk about it.
But I think somewhere on them notes, doesn't it say that the auxiliary purchased it?
It came out of the budget, their budget.
It's out of the
Their
budget?
That was a situation where they had to have a bid in, and I know where you're coming from there. But then also, with that truck being purchased, it gives the village an opportunity, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a contingency that if you have that truck for a couple of years and you can turn it in and get a new truck, basically, yes. And it wouldn't cost the village, what? Much at all? $1 million truck or whatever you told us it was.
$1 million truck for $50,000.
Yeah. So that was the reason it went like that. But I understand where you're coming from, that, you're correct.
I mean, I know one of my very first meetings, I mean, I remember seeing on the approved bills list was a golf cart being purchased for $2,500 or $3,500, and I've seen that golf cart many times, and I didn't think it was worth that kind of money, and I've seen on many, many approved bills lists, parts for a golf cart, and I think with us getting money from the government for, being able to purchase new equipment for discounted rate, being a government entity, that we should look at maybe buying newer stuff that's not gonna nickel and dime us to death, so. I don't know how that stuff doesn't get brought up to the council to approve. I'm not saying try to micromanage every little department, but.
Well, like in the case of a golf cart, that's probably handled by the administrator, because he has a $50,000 spending limit.
Yeah, somebody questioned that, but it was under the amount that they had to bring it to council.
Yeah.
I questioned it.
So, but I agree. You know, if you're gonna buy a golf cart, you might as well go spend $7,000, $8,000 to buy a new one. You know,
I don't know what the village needs 3 golf carts for.
racing.
Yeah, I see what they use them for.
Water wagon.
Hmm?
We take 2 of them, use a water wagon.
I mean, we've had committee meetings and, sidewalk committee, and we brought everything back to council to get everyone else's
Yeah,
opinion on it.
I understand what you're saying.
Bicycles,
They kinda got slid in there.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. It looks like things get slid under the, it's not saying snuck in, but
Yeah, I
it'd
know.
be nice for everyone to be on board.
Making a lot of money.
Anything else? Any committee reports from anybody else? Okay. Well, we will go on to the administrator's report.
Was that submitted then, my little page?
Nope. You are good to go. Do you need a copy?
I really don't have anything to report other than basically I'm still in a feeling out period, getting to know the people and following them around and understanding skill sets, who can do what, who's adds the most value where. Obviously, if they're licensed and certified in a certain discipline, you want to keep them there and you don't want to, misappropriate their skill set. But we've done a lot of talking about changing the narrative and challenging everyone to find things to do as opposed to, discussing things and sitting around and not having work to do. And I think for the most part, everyone's responded really well. The departments seem to work well together. Just like anywhere else, there's always some personality clashes once in a while, but when push comes to shove, I could see any department helping out any other department if needed on a dig or an emergency or whatever the case may be. And we already see evidence of cross-training with the way street department employees go over and help sewer and water and whatnot. So I think that's a good thing. It's a good place to start. But overall, I just want to start with trust and work my way up the pyramid, so to speak. I've shared something with Diane on that, and we'll work our way up from trust to commitment to results eventually. So.
Got a question. Barry mentioned about High Street being up. Does he need to go to Whirler, or should he go through you? Because that is going to be an issue coming up.
Yeah, there's several areas that's even worse than where he's at.
Yeah.
In a higher block.
You get out to the top of the hill up West High, pretty much.
So he needs to call Whirler?
Whirler's been notified.
Okay.
We told them right away.
Okay.
Dawn's been kind of like the liaison between me and complaints, and but they're welcome to call Whirler at any time. From what I understand, they're taking care of these issues, so.
Right.
Okay.
I would just challenge everyone to be patient.
Okay.
It's change, it's difficult. I don't know if 101% of the people are gonna be happy when it's all said and done, but there was a unanimous vote, if I recall. So obviously, you as the council must have heard from a lot of people that were, interested in like recycling and things like that, so otherwise it wouldn't have been supported like it was. But yeah, they can call here, they can call Whirler, they can call both. We've had 2 people come in today and talk to us, so, with unique issues.
Yeah.
In regards to that, I have a couple people that have talked to me about, they have their recycle can, so to speak, but they don't want to recycle. In other words, bing, bing, they got 2 cans, they only want 1. What do they have to do? Call Whirlers down picked up?
Yeah, I just talked to him.
Michelle said that they would take them back.
Yeah.
And take up, because if they don't want the thing around, you know what's gonna happen? It's just gonna become clutter and fill up with
I'm
other stuff.
surprised at how large they are. And I remember that if people want a smaller container too, they were told they could get a smaller
Right.
container in place of the big one.
60 gallon. She said it's about the size of your recycle.
That
Yeah,
is a
recycle smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, the caveat there, I believe, was their articulating arm has to still be able to grab it, so it's shaped in such a way that it can be mechanically put into the truck, so.
Speaking of that, like the other departments, like the fire department, when they have their parties and stuff, are they getting it?
I haven't gotten anything yet.
Nothing, because you talked about maybe a dumpster and or a couple bigger containers. And do we not have other companies providing garbage service to the, or is it all Wheeler now?
There's
Real.
Real does the
Real waste does
park,
a park.
right?
I'm not sure.
Real is at the
I'll find
park.
out.
Real's got a
Other
dumpster at the
people
park.
can, like the businesses and stuff that have to have a dumpster, they can get whoever they
Well,
want.
yeah, I'm
Oh, of
talking about
course.
the park has Real, and that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I thought that-
We have both, actually.
Yeah,
I thought Whirler was gonna take them all on,
that's what I thought so too.
all the village. Yeah.
Someone.
Pro bono?
But we had talked about, doing
Them
that.
covering all the locations. Someone told me this morning, they live on North Maple, and said they haven't got containers yet on North Maple, so I don't know if,
I would encourage everyone that has an issue like that to call Dawn. She has a list we've created, and Dawn's, and myself are both in contact with Michelle at Whirler, so we can get this straightened out, because hopefully the first week goes pretty smooth. That's our goal. We know it's not gonna be perfect, but
does anyone here have a question while we're discussing the new refuge service that we're gonna have? Okay.
And just for the public's, because my wife has told me 2 or 3 different dates, and I keep saying it's December 6th is our first day for using Whirler, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
December 6th.
that's a
First week of
Wednesday.
December.
Wednesday, December 6th.
And the whole town will be done on Wednesday, so December 5th, folks that were used to having their refuse picked up on the north side of town have to understand it'll be the following day.
Anything else for your report, Jim?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm gonna try to do this correctly this time. May we have the solicitor's report, please?
First thing I have is ordinance 2017-17, which is a third reading by caption only, an ordinance adopting chapter 923 of the codified ordinances regarding maintaining drainage swales and ditches, tampering with drainage swales and ditches, and describing a penalty for violations of said regulations.
So move.
I second that.
Roll call, please.
Baker?
Yep.
Barth?
Yes,
Beverly?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes,
Jones?
Yes.
And the second reading of ordinance 2017-19, an ordinance to amend the annual appropriations ordinance. Any questions, Ron?
Mayor's Court, we went from 4 to 8. Why'd we do that?
Because we're way over budget, because there's a lot more people going to mayor's court, so Julie's spending a lot more time doing the paperwork.
So this is wages? Wow. Okay.
Next is the first reading of ordinance 2017-20, an ordinance establishing pay ranges for village employees. I guess we got one more we're gonna change on that, right? The next is the first reading ordinance 2017-21, the annual appropriations ordinance of Hicksville Village. That's what Ron was making reference to, if anybody's got questions or anything on that. And next is resolution 2017-25, a first reading by caption only, a resolution authorizing the revolving loan fund committee to enter into an agreement with A&P Tool Inc. and declaring an emergency.
I move we suspend the rules on that one.
I'll second.
I do have a question. Are they going by the name of A&P Tool?
That has always been their official name. They do business as APT.
Okay, that's just
whatever,
what I
but
wanted to
Their
make
official
sure.
corporate name was and still is A&P Tool.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Baker?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Jones?
Second, third readings of Resolution 2017-25 by caption only. A resolution authorizing the revolving loan fund committee to enter into an agreement with A&P Tool Inc. and declaring an emergency.
Okay, sorry.
So moved.
I'll second.
I'm drifting again, you know. Roll call, please.
Jones?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Resolution 2017-26, a first reading by caption only. A resolution authorizing the revolving loan fund committee to enter into an agreement with Nelson Hirschberger and Susan Hirschberger doing business as Hirschberger Warehouse and declaring an emergency.
So moved.
I second that
I gotta
motion.
suspend the rules.
Oh, I move to suspend the rules.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Bassett?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
Jones?
The second, third readings of Resolution 2017-26 by caption only. A resolution authorizing the revolving loan fund committee to enter into an agreement with Nelson Hirschberger and Susan Hirschberger doing business as Hirschberger Warehouse and declaring an emergency.
I would make a motion that, on Resolution 2017-26, I would make that motion.
I'd second it.
Roll call, please.
Barth?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
And the only other thing I got, Mayor, we talked about it earlier today, the CRA, Jerry Hayes is on the agenda at the next school board meeting, which if I remember correctly was the 26th? 27th of this month, where he'll have a resolution and basically explain to him our program that the committee suggested, and hopefully they'll pass a resolution in support of it. Then the ordinance, our ordinance is done, but we got to do that part first, and then that first meeting in December, we can come back and have a first reading and do whatever we need to do, and then assuming that passes here, we have the rest of that application to complete along with our past ordinance and the school's past resolution and our study that Dennis Miller and Maumee Valley did for us, and we got to ship all that stuff down to the director at the state of Ohio, and then he considers whether or not we dotted all our i's and crossed our t's. And then only after he approves it would anybody in the village be eligible for participating in the program, so.
Hey, I have a question. 17-20, we need to pass that as an emergency.
It's listed as an emergency, she said we didn't need to. That's the one we're gonna add.
Trust me, you don't.
We're gonna change the. No,
That
I know
just-
what you're thinking, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. We talked about it beforehand. I'll
Okay.
explain it afterwards.
All right.
So Troy, can you please give us an update of where you are with the Sherwood income tax?
Tried actually calling this afternoon before I left, but he was out. I've had a position where I need to talk to Steve Hubbard, who is the solicitor for Sherwood, so that we can exchange proposed contract, and assuming that once he's on board, then I would be able to be in a position to present it here.
Are we gonna have that done shortly?
That was the conversation I was gonna have with him, is we need to fast track it and have it done, so. And I talked to, it's terrible, I talk to her all the time. Kim. Thank you.
Yeah.
I talked to Kim about it last week. We were talking about the need
Okay,
to-
because she's getting
Yep,
really
yep,
anxious
we
to get
talked
the
about it
account
last,
set up
probably Wednesday, maybe.
and get moving
Yep.
forward with it,
Yep.
getting the forms ready that they need for
Right.
them and all that kind of stuff, so.
So, that's where that is.
And then are you, and I have a note here, do you have the paperwork for the police department software that
Had to be tweaked.
had to be tweaked?
Yeah, you sent, what exactly, the whole thing, or just the?
The cost estimate or the cost page?
All I did
Do you
was tell them
remember?
it had to be tweaked. I never got any paperwork sent back to me or anything. About they had a remember they had a cost figure on it that was
Yeah,
wrong.
they had like 17,000
Right,
something.
it was supposed to be 14 something, yeah.
And that got taken care of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then also the question was, you wanted it specified that we do not pay those first two payments.
Right,
And that was also.
because the county was covering that first, right.
All righty,
Can I at this time ask the chief about this, on the approved bills list?
sure.
Chief, you have a police donation holster for $1,103.31, and police equipped cart holsters, $23.50.39, for a total of $34.53.70. What is that?
There's tasers. Tasers, the holsters, and the cartridges.
So what do we have to do to back up and pay that?
Just revisit it, and I think. Sheriff will probably tell us.
We weren't sure what it was, and so that's why it was on hold,
Oh, I didn't
to
know.
accept that donation.
I'm sure we can fix it.
We just make a
Yeah,
motion to
just-
approve it as part of the approved bill list.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the $34.53.70, tax on.
And I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Headley,
Yes.
Bassett,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Barth,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Glad you brought it up, Ron.
Anything else for Troy? All right, we are ready for the police chief report.
Mayor, you'd asked me about where we were on the junk vehicles. So far this year, we've had 45 vehicles that we've found, and about 25% of those have been corrected. The rest of them are in process of either being identified or served a summons or being given a warning if they have to do that. Other than that, our full-timer, Steve Stos, has completed all his medical and employment requirements. He's starting his training. The two part-timers are in various stages of where they are with their medical, physical and stuff requirements.
Okay. I don't know how council feels about this, but, and this doesn't relate to, this is just coming to my mind right now. Cheryl and I were discussing today that we think that perhaps we should not put people to work until we have all their complete personnel packet done. We have, come across some people that get started with their jobs before we get all their paperwork in or background checks done. And so I think it just makes sense that we get everything on everybody before they start. So in the future, just since all the department heads are here and stuff, it might be a good time just to mention it, so.
Right.
And that's not the situation in your case, I'm sure.
No, they had to have their stuff, well, that's one of the delays, that's why he hasn't gone farther. We didn't start him like the next day. We waited until they got his physical completed and we'd done his background check and that kind of stuff. He had to get that stuff in before we would let him go on the road.
Okay.
So,
Mayor, do you want to do something so that it puts it into the minutes of the meeting, that that's how you want this done?
I think Cheryl will put it in the minutes. Every once in a while, we just have the problem, it's.
Understand.
But
But if it ever
Because we
happens
get-
again and we're all different people and
Yeah.
we're going, well, we didn't know anything about
well,
it.
it absolutely should be that way because with liability and stuff, especially with the police department, we don't want anybody out there that's not been fully vetted, fully,
Three-time
physical and everything, absolutely. So, yeah, I would absolutely agree with that.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
No, do you?
No, but thank you for looking up that junk vehicle information for me, because I have people approach me all the time.
Well, we were kind of rushed on it because.
I know,
Because
I
when I
just
got it,
asked
then-
you Friday, I know, I appreciate
And I-
it.
You did prosecute somebody.
There was one that got prosecuted and he didn't find him anything anyway. Yeah, so we try.
Hey, thank you for being out of the school.
Oh, no,
Public
well,
traffic.
and I missed it this afternoon because I got busy, but.
I understand,
anyway,
but when you're out there, you make things run really smooth.
We try.
Does anyone have any questions for the chief? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will go on to the fire chief. I can't wait to hear what they have going on.
We've always got stuff going on.
I know, I see there's a feather bingo coming up.
Saturday, November 18th, feather party. Bingo time. Doors open at 4 p.m. Bingo starts at 6. The prizes are turkeys, hams, cash, and door prizes. Come out and have
A
a
lot
good
of
time.
people talking about it, how much it is fun.
It is. We fill the station up.
Yeah, can't believe how many people show up for that.
Yep. And that's all I really have. If anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you very much.
Yep.
EMS chief,
Nothing to report at this time, Mayor.
okay. Anybody have any questions for Cody?
Things running smoothly, Cody?
Yes.
Great.
Everything's covered and working just.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All righty. And the park director's on the list, but I don't think we have her here. So, unless Rod wants to say, you've already had a chance to talk, I guess, if you wanted to. Ron? Okay.
Nothing. Other than that restroom problems there with the building and.
That has just been a long, drawn-out mess, hasn't it?
Yes, I guess we got one bid on it for
When's the next bid?
$160,000 for a building about half as big as this room.
Is that what we thought would be $50,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Engineer's estimate was
15?
69 or 70.
It's already been advertised.
Oh, my
Where did
goodness.
we advertise that at?
It was in local, but I'm not sure about where else.
Crescent.
Yeah, I've seen it there too.
Well, I'd say that what estimates you had is twice too much, at least.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
About 3 times.
So anyway, that has been what was gonna be just a nice restroom down there, all done yet this year in summer and so. But I think Jim's on top of it now.
We got bids out again.
Yeah, we'll see how those come in. Looking forward to getting a nice new restroom down there. Okay, anything else, Ron?
No, not really.
Okay, park looked great all summer. You guys do a good job.
I have nothing to do with it.
Oh, you're a park board member. You get to help make decisions.
I'm not out there with a trimmer and the lawnmower.
I see they graded the parking lot. It looks really nice down there, that they
Which one, the
expanded.
gravel one?
The one they expanded,
Yeah,
last,
because people keep doing donuts in it. It is tore up. Brand new parking lot, yeah, it's tore up.
don't we have cameras down there?
No, not on the parking.
Not that far out. Up by the concessions and, yep.
Maybe hopefully they'll do a donut and hit one of the light poles.
Do some real damage to themselves.
I know Val and Gary, though, they work hard down there. They spend a lot of time and.
Yep, looks very nice. Yep. Okay, we will go on to the fiscal officer's report. It looks like Cheryl has a lot to report.
Yeah, but most of them are all collection reports. The first one is mine through October 31st. We have income tax, utility, the police department, mayor's court, all for the month of October, and the MediaCom franchise fee report. Tonight I put on the table, the Division of Liquor Control sent a list of, I think there's 3 new, well, maybe they're not new, they might be renewals. And I also have put on your desk a paper that is talking about asset management that Kent talked about on his last meeting. That's a new requirement by the EPA, of course, that's coming up. And it was in the City and Village magazine this time. Gives you an overview of what Jim's department's going to have to start doing.
Have you started thinking about this yet, Jim? I know you're pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
October 18th of 2018 will come very quickly. And there's a lot to cover. Fortunately, a lot of this Cheryl will already have, or Kent will have already been keeping track of, but that's quite a list.
Yep.
But that's due by October 18th.
Cheryl, did you share the MediaCom franchise report with the HIX-TV board?
No.
Okay. I usually gave them a copy so they could see it at their meeting. And the income tax collections look good. I mean, they, we had a good month. Now, October was the new extension deadline date where we should be hearing from a lot of those people that didn't file at the beginning of the year. So hopefully this will come up a little more.
And let's see, we had open enrollment, just a meeting. It's all this month until November 30th, but on the 2nd, we had a meeting. It was really good. They did a slideshow, and it was a full house to let them talk about the 2 different options you're going to have this year. and everything else that goes along with having Aetna insurance. Lots of questions. And the final thing I have is the Watson Savage bills, $1,140.
Why does that have my name on it?
It came to me that way.
Uh-oh. I know why. Because we had our committee meeting and they showed up that day.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah, I
asked
told
them-
them, turn it in, yeah.
We asked them to send us the bill.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we asked them to stop down and talk with the homeowner.
ordered it or something.
Personal liability.
Can we get this money back, Troy?
Cut off taxes, can't you?
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
Depending on the process, I have to look into it or whatever. I mean,
It needed to come down and we're gonna pay the guys, but
we could still go after them and say, hey, you owe us. I don't know if we can assess it to their taxes unless we filed a formal nuisance procedure, or whatever. I don't know if that's only available where it's statutorily allowed. It doesn't mean we couldn't go after them if we wanted to.
What are we gonna do about the pile up there?
The nuisance board is having a meeting coming up here in November. We sent him a letter. We sent 3 letters out to 3 different properties in town. There's a hearing scheduled.
Well, the first thing you gotta do is get these guys paid.
yep.
Do we want to give him a chance to pay it first, or?
You know you're gonna pay it.
The day they showed up here,
Yeah.
Mark and, I can't remember what's his first name, but
Shannon.
they were gonna go out and talk with the owner of the property and before sending us a bill and see if he'd be willing to pay
Said
them.
no.
That's-
But we're the ones that called them, right? So we need to pay this and then we can do whatever we can do to.
Buddy.
I'll make a motion that we pay these bills.
What fund is this going to come out of, Sheriff?
Extremely good question, huh?
How did you think you were gonna get it back? Somebody mentioned where we're gonna get it back?
Taxes.
Assess
That's why I
it
said
to
is
property
the-
taxes, I
The
think.
assessment area might not work, but doesn't mean we.
We can
couldn't
assess
try and collect it from
utilities.
them by
If
suing
he ever
us.
sells it, it'll be there.
That's only if you file, that tax process only is like under the nuisance code, like the people that got the letters sent to them, if they don't do whatever's asked of them, and we gotta step in and remediate the nuisance after they got notice and had the right to appeal it to the council and do all the due process that we all know and love, then if we have to do it, then we can have it assessed to their taxes. But on something like this, I don't know that there's any emergency, it doesn't mean that it doesn't allow us to try and collect it from them. We may just not be able to use that process to collect it.
Well, I stopped up and talked to him, and I'm with the understanding that he did not want it tore down. He didn't.
Not his choice, though.
He,
It's falling.
It's not his choice.
why was not his choice?
Once it was falling down and was out in the road, it's no longer his choice.
There were bricks and things falling into the street. We
Yeah.
can't keep a state route closed indefinitely.
Be no different than the American building.
To tear it all the way down?
Well, you can't tear it half down.
No, he just asked him to shove it back and clean it up.
The
And then
whole
he was,
place,
then
a
he
lot
was
of it,
gonna
and the
take care of
floors
it.
were coming in.
And he
The
was
walls
gonna-
were going out and the floors were coming in. It
Here's
had
what
to
happens
come
if
down.
you do that, and then the next day, regardless of what the barriers are around it, 3 10-year-old kids are walking by, say, hey, look at that abandoned building, there's stuff in there. They go in there and the thing collapses on them. It's not just him that's getting sued, it's us that's getting sued. Because we were aware of it at that point. The time for him to fix it would have been for the last
30 years ago.
30 years. I didn't know whether it was 20 or
10 anyhow.
10,
That we
when it was
on him.
buckling and everybody that drove by looked at it and, quite frankly, we probably should have done something about it sooner.
All that train vibration over there. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were fortunate it didn't hurt anybody
Right.
when at first the face of it came
But I
in.
thought, you know,
I think we did the right thing.
And
Absolutely.
it came down fast. By 10:30, it was down and safe. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the business, but those bills do not
These
look
guys,
that
these
cheap.
guys were very fair with it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
that looks
We're
very-
fair.
So Mike made a motion to pay these 2 guys and I will second his motion.
Roll call, please.
Baker,
Yes.
Barth,
Yes?
Bassett,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Headley.
yes.
Do I want to back that up and say, pay it, but we need to pursue?
Pursue our options, that's right. You don't need to say that.
Okay, then I won't.
Cheryl, I might suggest that on the ordinance amending the 2017 appropriations, you make a new line account in the 2017 appropriations in the capital projects fund to increase the budget by that amount to pay it. That's, because we got a third reading to go yet, and you could put that change right in there for the next reading, make it easy. Anything else, Cheryl, or questions for Cheryl?
When did you say we're gonna have a meeting about cleaning that up?
I think it's around the 15th or 16th, I don't know. I sent, maybe Scott can tell you because I told, and I thought I sent you an email too. So Cheryl said that the new options to our medical insurance are pretty good, and there should never be anybody that leaves the village with a reason for better insurance. I mean,
We now have 2 deferred comps. And we have 2 kinds of insurance. One is Aflac, and the other one is like Aflac, but it's Colonial Life, which is a little bit buried. All this information's in my office. They have the option this time of signing up for the regular standard 5, which is the $1,250 deductible for a single, or the $4,000 for it's the high premium. It has some kind of fancy name, which also has an HSA attached. The village does not put into the HSA. They have to do that voluntarily. But it's a really good deal.
Does that company have a duck?
No, that's Aflac, which we also have.
did pretty much all the employees get there?
Except for the police department.
Oh, okay. Everybody else? Oh,
The sewer was there, and EMS, fire, they didn't need to come because they're not eligible, sorry.
so you had
Thanks,
pretty
guys.
good attendance?
Yep.
Good.
A lot of them.
Good. Great. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I scribbled some notes down to myself here before we left today. Did any of you go to the Gordon Creek Granite Open House, grand opening?
I did.
It was really nice.
Yes.
Really impressive, their addition. And beautiful granite. Well attended. I think they were real happy with that. Let's see. I would like to pass our sympathies on to Jeff Rumpel, who lost a brother last week. We're sorry for your loss. And is there anyone in the audience that wants to address council about anything? Yes, Mr. Fox, would you come up to the podium, please?
Okay, I got property over on Columbia Street, as you know, got a barn. And I'm having problems with cats there, dumping in my yard. And I like to rake my leaves up, but when you pick them up and get kicked shit all over, you got cat shit all over my lawnmowers and all that stuff. There's about over a dozen cats over there, and I think they're interbreeding. And over here at the house we got cats pissing on our siding over there. They're house cats. So I know the shelter doesn't do very much for it, but I'm gonna have to do something because I'm getting tired. It's getting all over everything. Gets in your car, gets them in a barn, gets in your and then also we're having still a lot of semis and stuff going down North Bryan Street. One went whizzing down through there, almost missed that light pole by that far going. I don't know what street that is. I'm not too familiar with the streets, but and about that time is when the school kids was out. I brought this up before.
I know you have brought it up to me.
We still have the tanker going through there. The streets are narrow now. If you guys want to make wider streets and stuff like that, superhighway streets, probably it'll be all right. But they're narrow streets, and these trucks go down there fast. Now you're talking probably 70-ton trucks. I don't know. He knows more about it.
Where do they go to?
Well, I think I don't know why, but I think they go down that way so they don't have to go at the stoplight at High and Main Street. I don't know. I don't know why they do that. Now, I know we had stone trucks, which is all right because, they was doing stuff. But there's no reason why we should have semis going down our residential streets. It's dangerous for our kids. I brought it up about South Main. We got trucks there, tandem trailer with big rolls of steel on them. That street's not built for that, I don't think. And then right now, the shape of that street is new. It's pretty junky, I think. I don't know what you guys think, but it's so rough and got big lumps and everything. But that's my problem is cats. They're stray cats.
We have this topic come up every few years.
Well, I talked to Jody there, my neighbor across the street, and she said she knew a fellow that had a nice patio outfit, and cats got on it and tore it all up. And maybe they must not have said something about it, or maybe it did. I don't know. But
Someone on Maple Street tells me they got new porch furniture and the cats are up there
That's
all over
probably
their
what it
porch
is.
furniture.
We're going to have to get rid of the cats.
Clean at my house, they just walk all over them.
Well, I'd like to keep our properties nice. And I just don't like to go out there in the summertime or anything, and I mow yard. I don't want to come out smelling like a cat shit person.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against cats now. I mean, but they should be like dogs. Cats shouldn't be wandering through the neighborhood.
I was just at a mayor's conference last week and that topic comes up every year. Everybody's got the same problem in every town.
Well, the shelter don't take them, right?
Does anybody do it? Do they have anybody do anything about it?
We usually, no, I mean,
Rat poison's about the only
talk
I know.
about
The other towns.
making them be licensed once in
Yeah.
a while, but cats are pretty free roamers, you know, I mean.
Right.
Last time this topic came up, the Defiance County Humane Society was having a big event where people could, and I know you're talking about wild cats, but
Yeah, these
people
here.
could take the cats down, and if the people have pets and they would responsibly go get their pets spayed or neutered, you know, that would help a lot, but.
Well, it don't help me any.
But it's not-
These
but
are wild
now
cats
it's-
down there. I
yeah.
mean, they're just interbreeding with themselves, and
People need to stop feeding them.
well,
and-
the only thing I know to do is rat poison. I'll get rid of them. I don't want them. I don't want to be. It gets all over your car and everything. I mean, you know. So I don't know what to do.
Anybody have any?
I see them wandering all around town. I mean, you see them laying on the road, get hit by cars. I mean, I have them in my yard. They're not my cats. And
Yeah, it's the people.
there's no one you can go to though either because nobody owns them.
No. Well, they're interbreeding. That down there, it's probably at least a dozen cats, at least that many. And there's kittens now coming on. So
Can't you trap them?
I've known some people to use box traps and then give them to a farmer. You know.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it, give them to them.
go out on the county road there and give it to them.
Well, some of them do like them in their barns.
Well, they keep mice down, I know that, but, you know, and I've seen some dead mice in front of my barn. It's, they're doing their job, but.
Cats are a big problem in this town.
Yeah, it's getting to be awful. It's pretty bad shape.
Street in Fort Wayne.
And it's not sanitary, really, actually, all that stuff,
I
you know.
know.
I probably got 20 piles in my yard. And, you know, they cover it up, so when you walk in it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, just do whatever you got to do to make things right.
Yeah, but anyways, the trucks is another big thing. That's, you know.
We
And it is
brought up-
mentioned that grain trucks, farmers don't drive down the road every day.
Except for the trucks that go to that sewer plant to pick up our sludge or bring the chemicals. There's no reason in the world for a truck to be on Bryan, Hicks, any of those streets.
No, or the milk place, they
Well,
gotta
the
go to the milk place.
petroleum
Milk
truck.
place is easily accessible right here from Main Street.
Yeah, but that's what it is, you're getting steel trucks and everything going down Main Street.
I've seen poles, the
They've
trucks
almost
with the
turned
poles.
Jericho into a state highway.
Yeah, that's, and it's showing the wear too, because it's getting all cracked up and everything. I like to ride my bike down Jericho, but.
Jericho, or excuse me, 18's been closed.
Yeah, that's
different locations.
But this has been going on for a long time, Ron. I mean, it's just.
It will continue because.
We got a couple big truck guys here. This guy on Jericho has a lot of trucks, and then there's one down from Zane Zedike. I don't know what kind. He has trucks on that little narrow road there.
Drininger, yeah.
Yeah, and it's getting to be a problem. And now I'm seeing levees to fix roads and you know, bridges and stuff like that. You know, and one of the things you got to remember. When you retire, you're on a fixed budget. And these levies that are coming up, you know, as especially roads and stuff like that, I know that.
But you guys also remember, trucks move commerce.
Yeah, well, it might be, but that first time a kid gets run over by one of them, then it's gonna be, you're gonna wish you never did see a truck going down our residential.
Chief, could you enlighten us on how you handle truck traffic going through town on side streets or anything? Do you?
If we find them on the side streets and they're obviously not making a delivery or anything like that, we try to get them out of there safely. If they damage anything in the process, they'll be cited for whatever it is that they do.
Yeah, but I think there should be an ordinance that there should not be trucks going down the residential streets.
Discuss that.
We just discussed that at the last meeting about putting weight limits on the streets
Right,
to
I
keep
mean,
the
these
traffic.
streets are not made for semis. I mean,
Well, we also had we also got brought up, you know, you have semi-delivery going down Columbus Street to go to the hospital. How do you?
well, yeah, well,
Exempt them out.
You can't, it's hard to exempt it. That's
I know that, but,
Snowplows, fire trucks,
tankers.
tankers.
but I know, but that's not every day. That's not every day.
Bet you they get a semi there about every day or 3 days a week.
Well, all I say is someday somebody, and I do a lot of bike riding around here, and I ride very few state routes because it's getting really dangerous. You know, Mr. Sweet even told me that. I don't know if you Mr. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, he used to ride, I don't know if he still does, 10 miles a day. He said it's just getting to be dangerous out there to ride. That's why he rides on sidewalk.
Well, I appreciate you coming to council because every time this is brought to the public's attention, it's kind of a reminder to them to, take care of their pets and be responsible pet owners.
They aren't though, and it won't change. Okay, well, thank you very much. And I'm sorry about the gasoline thing. I called the police up the other day. I come back from the barn and I smelled gas over there around Charlie's bar. It was just raw gaslight. Well, I got home and everything and started putting boiling potatoes. And they called me back to come back to check on it, and I didn't smell anything. I don't know what it was, but
Well, it's better to be safe than sorry, so don't ever feel badly about
it was
calling.
really bad. I don't know. I don't know. I asked the guy there that loads and unloads gas if they loaded some gas. He said, yeah, I did, but that was around noon. Well, this is about 4:30, I think, or close to 5 or something, whatever it was. So,
It's all right.
okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Is there anyone else that would like to address council? All you sitting back there? Oh, all right. Anything else from council?
I want to thank the 2 cross-country runners that one got the state and did very well in that, and our football team's still in the playoffs and they're moving forward.
There you go.
Again, Friday night, I think they played Defiance, I believe, Liberty Benton, I believe. Huber this weekend's having their wine tasting Friday night. We have a lot of activities going on in town, and when you talk about traffic, I think our town looks busier than, and it stays busy with all the businesses and commerce and residents, and it's all good, so.
And I notice our 4 county students are getting some recognition, so it's all good.
Also, I would like to reiterate what Ron said. Get out there and vote tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
A lot of important things out there.
We can meet the people that's running. I mean, I don't know anything about that. I know when I see Ron.
I could give you their telephone numbers if you would like to call them up. I mean,
Did you get the Tribune? There was a write-up on all the candidates.
Crescent had one also. The Crescent.
was that just last week's?
Crescent was a couple weeks ago, and then we did ours last week.
So if you go to the gas station and buy a Tribune, it will have all of the council.
3 of us up
Can't-
here that's running.
Yeah.
And there's 2 others.
Yeah, that will give you all their names and faces. You might recognize them.
You have to know what they stand for.
Well, I could give you their telephone numbers too. I'm sure they'd be.
I'll make a motion to adjourn then.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baker? Yes. Bassett?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.